Hi, I'm Mike Crab.
And I'm Laurie Schultz. Welcome to the show.
We'll have some caffeinated conversation.
And maybe some special guests along the way.
Who knows where the conversation will go? You're out for coffee with Mike and Laurie.
That school crossing guard. Remember the bus patrol?
Like the
Did you ever have a
reflective
bus
jackets?
patrol belt? No. It was like a belt that went across. I was the captain of the safety patrol at my elementary school.
Right.
Get your feet out of the aisle.
So then that's where all the bossiness came from then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not bossy. I just have better ideas.
And we're gonna know about it.
Damn right. Why aren't we recording this? Okay.
I think we are actually. There's episode on its own. Just there. All right. Let's get to playing.
Okay. Let's go.
All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Out for Coffee
With Mike and Laurie.
How you doing, Laurie?
I'm well, Michael. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful, thank you. I got my nice piping hot cup of coffee ready
Your
on
cup
the
of joe?
go. Yeah, I'm ready to start my sipping.
Sounds like you've had some sipping already.
Okay, it's entirely possible. I've already had a cup and I'm already starting to get jittery. So,
A little bit of Bailey's in that coffee today, Michael?
no, never. I would never do that.
Oh, black coffee. Any
Yeah.
sugar?
There's a little sugar in here, dear.
A little sugar?
Yeah,
How about
a
the stevia?
No, I only use the stevia in my tea.
Oh, weird.
It tastes nicer in there. I don't know. There's no reasoning.
This is not out for tea with
No.
Mike and Laurie.
We
Okay?
need coffee.
We do need coffee.
But if you
now.
are at home right now drinking tea, no judgment. You are welcome to join the group.
I guess
Just don't tell us about it.
we'll let it pass this time. But next week.
You best have that coffee.
That's right.
What do you want to talk about this week, Laurie? Because what? What do you want to talk about still? You still want to give them trouble about drinking tea?
No, I'll let it go.
What do you want to talk about this week?
Well, Mike, apparently I'm a weirdo, which I will wear with pride,
As you do.
as I do. I will be the first to tell you that, yes, I am a weirdo, and I do not make any excuses for it. I love it.
Okay. And
Yeah.
this is you've used this as fuel to get you through your days.
Usually gets me out of things.
Who needs coffee when you could just be a little extra weird?
That's right. At your own risk. Approach.
So, tell me, Laurie, when I say, boy, you're weird, what do you think I'm talking about?
It could be a lot of things, Mike. It could be the fact that I like, certain movies, like we've talked about, and I can watch it on repeat and then quote it.
Right.
And I can bring out these quotes in the most ridiculous circumstances.
So, it's kind of a bit of a weird talent then. Not just weird, but it's also a talent.
I suppose.
Because I will say, there's times where I'm having a nice, lovely conversation with you, and you go left field with the most random quote from some movie I've never heard about. Right. And then I have to go down an IMDb rabbit hole to figure out what the hell you're talking about. And then it's funny.
And then it's funny. And then it makes sense.
Right.
But in the moment, you're like, what the hell are you talking about?
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't care that you don't know. Because the quote is meant more for me than you.
It has nothing to do with who your audience is. It's
No.
what needs to come out of your soul.
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
I could get behind
I
that.
can put the fun back in funeral.
Aw, finally.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like you would have a fun funeral. I know that's awful,
Oh,
but...
listen. I want to plan my own funeral. I hope... Now, this is going to sound awful. I don't hope I don't get diagnosed with something. But if I have the opportunity to plan in advance, and I'm not just talking about creating a will, but I'm talking about, creating the funeral.
An event.
Oh, it's a party. It's a party. You can see I'm already wearing my Do Not Resuscitate shirt.
Well, that's fitting.
It is. It's tight fitting. It's I'm not wearing this one out of the house. I'll tell you that. I can't breathe. Anyway, so can I just tell you one quick story about putting the fun back in funeral?
Of course.
Schultzes are really morbid and sick. A little bit. Things that we find funny, a lot of people do not find funny. This is one of those things that makes me a weirdo, in quotes. So when my dad was sick, way back 2015-ish, one story I remember, we were at the hospital, and he was on the gurney, just sitting there, and there was a garbage can on wheels, and he just reached out with his foot, and he booted it across the room.
Okay.
And I'm like, what are you doing? And he looked at me and he said, just practicing.
Kick the bucket? Oh, no.
And we laughed so hard. I was crying because he knew he was dying at that point.
Right.
But that was so funny. And I told my brother, and he was like, why did he say that? That's not funny. That's not funny at all. I'm like, no, Michael. His name is Michael, too.
Right,
like,
of course.
That is comedy gold.
Right.
That is really funny. So, another quick funeral story.
Of course.
Because why not? When we were planning Dad's funeral, Dad did the prepayment thing, like the pre-arranged funeral.
Right.
That poor guy earned his money that day.
Oh.
That dude who sold him that little package. Anyway, so we had to go and sign off on stuff at the funeral home. And while we were waiting for the big boss to come in, the woman who was working with us, she had us come into the showroom. The room where all the caskets and urns and all that stuff.
Of course.
And I'm thinking, no, lady, you're not going to upsell us here because Dad's already paid money for this. And begrudgingly, he didn't want to pay anything. But he did. And so she's like, oh, look at this and this one and this one. And I thought, how can I make this a little more fun for me?
Of course.
For me. So I look at my brother, like I give him a signal, like, don't screw this up for me.
Right. Get on board. Something's happening.
So I said to her, so do you guys ever get custom requests for like urns and stuff? Oh, yeah, sure. All the time. What do you have in mind? And I said to her, well, I was thinking about like almost like an ant farm for the cremains. Yeah. And she looked at me, jaw on the floor. It had to be only 15 seconds or so. But to her, that must have felt like an eternity.
Well, are you telling the truth or are you full of shit? Or like, what are you saying?
And then she looks at my brother, who's standing there looking at her, kind of stroking his chin, waiting for a response. And I'm like, yes, Mike, you're on board. This is awesome. And this poor woman, oh my God. And I said to her, I'm just kidding. Like, I'm not, like, I'm joking. And she went, oh my God. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know, like, what, who is she, what? She was just dumbfounded. And I laughed. And she said, you have to understand, we don't often get a lot of people making jokes.
I bet.
Here. I'm like, because you don't know the Schultzes.
Buckle your seatbelt, lady.
That's right. So then she made me tell the big guy when he came in to sign off on stuff. So I got some mileage out of that one.
I love it. Sure. Well, so then so a bit of a morbid sense of humor is what makes you partially weird. That's not all of Laurie's weirdness.
No.
That is but a sliver of what you have to offer.
It's a snippet.
It's an appetizer.
That's right. It's like a peep show of oddity for me. Like, I know, Mike, you're not a weird guy. You might have some idiosyncrasies and stuff, but
there might be a few things, yeah.
Yeah. But I know, like, I'm the teacher who has the shrunken head on the desk.
You actually do, yeah.
I had a shrunken head, yeah. and a magic 8-ball and a piranha encased in glass and a skull. And his name was Little Jimmy.
Right. But did the piranha make any particular noises or anything?
No. It was just like a mummified piranha in a glass case. Not
That's what I was wondering if it did.
I'm picking up what you're laying down. Had you listened to our previous show about movies and the piranha movie, this is dedicated to my cousin, Michael Cunningham. Bring that back. See, I'll do that in public. I don't care.
You don't care.
Weirdo. Total
so
weirdo.
you have Jimmy on your desk.
Little Jimmy, yep. I had a voodoo doll. Yep.
Right.
I think the kids appreciated it.
I
Definitely.
actually know they did, because in our opportunities of working together, it has come up a couple times, and that's why the one day I was like, all right, I was at the school and I was like, show me this desk, and I had to come and have a field trip of your desk.
Yeah, it was good times. Good times. But I like weird things too.
Okay, like what?
Like, well, I know I'm not the only person, but you know the Dr. Pimple Popper?
Oh my god, I do, guilty pleasure, I love
Okay.
Dr. Pimple Popper.
All right. Bonding, Mike. We can do this one day. Okay, if you're eating oatmeal, you might want to set it down for a
How
second.
detailed are we getting?
No, we won't go into too many details.
Okay.
But I had a thing a couple of years ago on my arm.
Okay.
I'm like a medical anomaly as well.
Right.
So I get a lot of cysts.
Oh no.
Like a lot of cysts. A lot of times
no.
they go away.
Right.
This one did not. And it was on the back of my arm.
I actually
And
remember
I
this
had
one.
to go. Remember that? It was like
Uh-huh.
I was growing another person. It was great. It was my reabsorbed twin. Yeah. Her name was Laura.
She was much nicer too.
She was. Classier. Yeah.
The type of gal you could dress up and take her to a good meal.
That's right. That's right. Don't squeeze her too hard, though. I had to go to the hospital and get this thing lanced.
Right.
And the guy, the poor doctor, because I'm a giant baby. Giant baby. The worst part of that whole thing was the needle, the freezing.
The freezing?
And I'm making these awful screaming kind of sounds
Right.
in the bay in emergency. And I'm thinking, these poor people must be thinking that he is like cutting off a limb or something. But it was just from the freezing because it was hurting. It was awful. But then I said to him, I'd like to video this. And he's like, I'd rather you didn't. But I'm like, no, I have to. Because I got to give the people what they want.
Because you had so many people saying, when you deal with this, we need to see it.
Yes.
Right. Of course.
So
Naturally.
I said, it's just the squeeze. I won't get your face or anything. So I have the video of the squeeze and of the remnants. Yeah.
I can't say I've seen this video, and I think
Would you like
after,
to?
you might need to send it my way. I might need to have a
Okay.
little look at that. Maybe we can have a reaction shot of me watching your video.
Maybe. I know my friend's dad watched this and
Yeah.
he was crying.
Oh.
Not at the squeeze, but at me freaking out over the needle. He was
Well-
laughing so hard at me being a giant baby.
Well, you
I am a giant baby.
you're a big baby.
I'm a
Well-
giant baby.
I don't know about. I haven't had to deal with anything like that. I feel like your weird list is quite different than my weird list. I think my weird list is filled with a lot of like little individual things as opposed to whole character type things. I don't know what makes me weird as a person. Maybe you could tell me that. But like for little things, like there's certain things I can't touch.
Tell me.
Like, okay, so when I was in high school, I worked at Tim Hortons, and between customers, you would get your rag and you would wipe down the counters and just keep everything clean. And then customer would come in and you would grab the paper cups are like in a sleeve in the counter, and you got to pull them out, right? And there was something about a damp hand touching a paper cup
Yeah.
that, like, it's literally, it just makes my skin crawl.
I feel
And,
that.
I can't do it. I can't do it. So, like, there's
Yeah.
things like that I maybe
No,
are
it's
a little
true.
weird.
I have a lot of sensory things too.
Oh, like
that.
what?
Wood. I can't touch wood. Insert
Just
your
like-
own joke here. But I can't touch untreated wood.
Oh, so like if there's like a sealant or like a shellac or something or painted,
Yeah.
you're fine.
Like I can touch the kitchen table. I'm not like,
Okay.
I can't eat. But if it's like a wooden spoon or a popsicle stick,
Oh,
no. Unless you wrap the stick or the spoon with something.
so you were the type of kid growing up that you would have to peel the wrapper of the popsicle back and still hold onto the stick through the wrapper?
Yes. Take the wrapper off, wrap it around the stick, hold the stick.
So like,
And can't get close the last little bit of ice cream or whatever it is on the stick. Can't lick the stick.
oh,
Can't.
that's blasphemy.
I'm gonna. That's just.
Now, I can
disgusting.
relate. I do feel like there is something very unusual about the texture of a wooden popsicle stick. Like,
Oh.
it's like, I don't know if it's the dryness or like there's something to it that I know what you mean, but it would not stop me from like absorbing every ounce of sugary juice out of that stick
No.
that I could get.
Can't do it. I'm a freezy gal. Just
Oh.
no more sticks.
I don't like freezes because they would cut the side of my mouth because I would
You
just
get
go
the
to town.
Joker smile.
Yeah. Yeah. And then once in a while you'd get like the sour freezy and it would sting the corners of
Yeah.
my mouth. Awful.
How about cotton balls? Because I can't touch those either.
Oh, Kevin has that problem. Like literally like if you take a cotton ball, you know how you like squeeze a cotton ball and it like does that like if you do that near him, he will literally his shoulders raise and just covered in goosebumps. It grosses him out far too much.
Me too.
Far too
I had to
much.
do a Halloween costume years ago. We'll maybe post a picture of it on our socials. I was Silence of the Lambs,
Right. I remember that.
and it was me in a homemade lamb costume holding up a sign that said, shh. Right?
Right.
Pretty.
That's very
Halloween's
clever.
kind of my jam. Thank you. We'll get into Halloween costume episode another time. But this one I made by hand, and I used, oh my God, I can't even believe I did this, 700 cotton balls.
Oh.
And did you ever see Seinfeld at the end of the episode where George's fiance is licking all the envelopes?
Yeah. Susan.
And she, she's grossed out and like passes out at the end?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was like me with these cotton balls. And
Just nauseous and turning yellow.
I was using a hot glue gun, and I had cotton ball stuff stuck to my fingers.
Ugh, that grosses me out.
It was just, I was taking one for the team big time. What I don't do for Halloween. Right? Like Halloween
you would
is
do
my
anything.
jam.
You would do anything for Halloween, and that is proven through your Silence of the Lambs costume.
Yeah. So I do have a lot of those sensory things with touch. I don't like socks. If I could go barefoot forever, I would.
Okay, like don't you get cold feet?
I do, but that's why I have the foot heater thing in the car.
Okay. You mean that every car has?
Yeah.
Okay.
You mean
Make it
I
sound
didn't have to pay extra for that? What are you talking about?
They took you to the cleaners.
I did.
You paid thousands.
I did. And here I thought, I got a letter to write, I think.
I think you do. So other sensory weirdos, like is there like a particular, so that's touch. Is there a sound that like really makes you uneasy?
Chewing.
Oh.
My poor mom. My mom is on the phone with me, and if she is chewing gum or eating something, I'm like, you gotta go. You gotta go and call me back when you're done. Can't take it.
Relatable. It's got a name, and I can't remember what it's called, but there's something.
Misophonia.
One more time?
Misophonia.
Okay, well, I'm going to look it up because I
'Cause I'm
remember
lying.
No, I want to look it up because I feel like it's relatable because I too have an issue with hearing people chew. And I remember one time in particular, I was in the break room, and this is when I worked at the Gap at the Eaton Center. And there was one of my coworkers. We're sitting in the staff room, and it was just him and I, and he was eating this apple. And I could feel my blood pressure start to raise. Like I was getting angry. And I had to go for a walk because I couldn't be around it. And ever since, it's been, not ever since, it was before that too. But that's when I was like, Mike, you're the one with the problem. Hold on. This poor guy's just trying to eat his apple and peas on his break. You need to go for the walk. This is not his issue. But it's just, there's something to it. Kevin knows this about me too. Like if we're eating supper and stuff, I usually have to have like music playing in the background. And I do remember once in high school, too, I remember eating a grilled cheese sandwich. And there's me, and I remember my buddy Jason and my friend Amy, we were watching TV. And Amy pointed out that in the commercial breaks, those like really quick pauses between commercials and stuff, Jason and I would both stop chewing at the same time, and we didn't realize it because we couldn't handle hearing chewing during those little breaks. So I realized I wasn't alone in how I felt.
That's weird. When I was in university, I had to sit at the front, not at the back, not in the middle, because I could not pay attention if there was stuff happening around me. Like right now while I'm talking, my dog is coming down the stairs and I can hear his chain jingling.
Yeah.
And it's driving me crazy.
Well, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Lie in his bed. But when people were unwrapping like a candy, or at the movie theater, oh my God, enough.
Okay, but worse than a movie theater is a live performance show. If you're at a concert, like a nice what's the word I'm looking for? Like an intimate concert. Everyone's got or a play, and there's just somebody. It's just open the candy and put it in your mouth.
That's right.
What are you doing?
Or crinkling their water bottle.
Oh yeah, and they don't know. They don't know they're doing it either.
Oh, I can't take it. But there's also the sensory, like in the mouth sensory.
Okay.
I have a lot of food issues. I'm basically a 7-year-old. If you go out for supper with me, I will admit I am not an adult when it comes to my food choices.
Just when it comes to that, of course, yeah.
That's where it is. That's where the line is drawn. I am mature in every other way.
Of course.
She said through gnashed teeth. I'm mature. Damn it. Believe me. No. But I am like a 7-year-old out for dinner. There's things that come on a plate. I would love to go to a ritzy restaurant, but I can't. Like, you know, the ones that have a set menu?
Yeah.
That it comes with this and we don't substitute.
Right.
That kind of thing.
Right.
I can't do it. Because there's always something in there that I don't want in there. Like asparagus.
Yeah.
I want to like it.
Okay.
I want to like it, but I don't like it.
Is it because it's a vegetable, though? Like, are you, like, not a big vegetable lover altogether?
I don't like a lot of vegetables. I will eat Caesar salad.
That counts as a vegetable.
Till the cows come home. I like broccoli, as long as it's, like, heavily saturated in cheese sauce. My homemade cheese sauce.
Of course.
I don't know, like, beans? No. No. Unless they're yellow beans.
Oh.
Like, you know...
Yeah.
You know, yellow beans, green beans.
Of course.
Not green beans. Yellow beans. They have to be yellow beans. I don't... Just saying this...
Is it like a texture thing? Like, it's because yellow beans are a little softer. No. Like, there's something... Okay.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I grew up on yellow beans.
Oh.
Like, that's a Schultz family recipe. Is just boiled yellow beans with tons of butter and salt and pepper. Right out of the pot. I will eat that for dinner.
Hey, Rob.
Corn on the cob?
Rob, let's get Rob in here
for a second.
Rob, do you have any weird things that you love to celebrate about yourself?
Oh, that's a pretty long list, Mike. And
give us one.
Completely dependent upon who you ask.
Right. True.
Perspective.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. See, I don't know. You caught me off guard here now. I was so enthralled just listening to the stories going on here. I'm thinking, I can tell you, I don't have an issue with popsicle sticks.
Yeah.
And I don't have an issue with green beans.
But you do have an issue with grabbing paper cups with wet hands.
That's never really crossed my mind, I'm afraid.
Well,
thought about it.
One of my food weirdo things is when I make a grilled cheese sandwich. I don't know if I could articulate this verbally without showing anything, but when I make a grilled cheese sandwich, okay, when you have a loaf of bread and it's cut into all its slices, you pull 2 of those slices out. Naturally, in the loaf of bread, they touch, right? I have to butter my grilled cheese before I cook it. I have to butter it on the outside of those pieces.
Yes, of
I
course.
can't accidentally flip one around. and butter.
Yeah, then they don't match up, I suppose.
It doesn't match up.
No.
And it just like, it affects me. And I, like, if I accidentally do it, I feel so disappointed that I ruined my grilled cheese sandwich.
Oh, kitten.
Yeah,
I have to butter it that way.
What a shame.
That's, yeah. I'm sure I will survive.
Well, I just made chili yesterday.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
No beans.
Why is that?
Beans.
Oh,
How can you make chili with no beans?
Originally, chili was made with no beans. It was
Really?
when there was a meat shortage, beans were put in for the protein.
That's a substitute. Sure.
Well, I would certainly join you on this one, Laurie. I can't stand beans. Any type of bean. A lima bean, a baked bean, nothing. Refried beans,
No.
There's something about them that's very beetly or like...
Yes.
Okay.
It's like a bug in your mouth.
Yes. And like
Yes.
the texture, like who's like, beans? Like, I don't know. Like,
Yikes.
Right, like a kidney bean is like a June bug.
yes.
Who
You know what
wants
else?
that?
You know what else reminds me of June bugs? And
What?
it's so my mom had like a jar of in her living room, and it's kind of like, a candy jar kind of thing, but it was a jar and it's full of shelled peanuts, but they still had their skins on them. So
Yeah, no.
you got this jar of shelled peanuts with all their skins, and there's just something about the like paperiness of the skin, and they get caught on your lip when you eat them and stuff. And there's something that just reminds me of like popping June bugs in my mouth.
Yeah, pretty gross.
I can't. I can eat a regular shelled peanut, but if those skins are on it,
See, I'm like that with raisins. I can do grapes, but
Yeah?
not raisins. Raisins are like dead grapes.
Yes. And
Again, like
they've-
flies.
yeah. And then they like get like caught in your teeth. And do you know what the worst thing with raisins is when you go to eat an oatmeal chocolate chip cookie and it's
You're
lies,
expecting chocolate chip.
and you get a flippin' raisin.
That's unforgivable.
No amount of coffee is going to wash that down.
No. That's where my trust issues started. As a kid.
Trust issues. Oh my. I feel like I must have grown up in an entirely different era because basically, you ate what was put in front of you, and if you didn't like it, that was tough beans. Pardon the expression.
Tough beans. That's on the list too.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, because I don't know. So you could sign me up for all that stuff.
Well, Rob, you're a
oatmeal raisin
better man than I.
Yeah, well, no, probably just tougher. That's all.
But some of my stuff doesn't even make sense. Well, I mean, obviously. But, like, when it comes to onions, no raw onions, ever.
Huh.
But cooked. I can do cooked. I love fried. Fried on a hot dog?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, is it because it loses that crunch?
And I find the flavor of a raw onion just way too overpowering. And the crunch. The crunch is like, oh, look, I've got a grasshopper in my mouth.
Right. So I too used to have the exact same problem. I did not like onions, and then but I could eat onion rings. Like I loved onion rings.
Yes.
Hated every other type of onion. And then one day I was probably like 21, and I went to not Starbucks. Sorry, I went to Subway, and for some reason that one day I'm like, today's the day I'm putting onions on my sub. I don't know why. And guess what? Changed my life forever, Laurie. Guess what I love now? I love me an onion.
That's disgusting, Michael.
Well.
How about tomatoes?
My father-in-law used to eat onion sandwiches.
Yeah, my mom does that.
Yeah.
Wait,
Onion and ketchup.
An onion sandwich. Just he'd get a couple of pieces of bread, butter that bread, and then just take a Spanish onion and make a couple of good slices of that onion and make an onion sandwich.
Well, I can't say that's anything I've ever heard of, and I probably could have gone a lifetime without picturing.
Yeah, well,
That's disgusting.
it wasn't something I was about to join him in. I'll tell you that. I would just kind of pass, but yeah.
So you're
Maybe
saying
that's what we're going to have to do one day, Mike.
eat an onion sandwich?
Eat an onion sandwich.
Oh.
Just to see what happens to us.
I don't get paid enough for this.
Yeah. Like, how about tomatoes? How are you with tomatoes?
So I too, same thing. I never liked tomatoes. I love ketchup and I love tomato soup, but I never liked tomatoes on things. And that is still true to this day. If I get a burger, can't be a tomato on it. But you know what I do really like? Is bruschetta. Or
Really?
bruschetta. How do you say it? Bruschetta. I'm not saying it right. Everyone always makes fun of me for saying bruschetta. But there's something very nice about bruschetta.
Except it's got raw onions in it.
Yeah,
But you're absolutely right. And I think, 34-year-old Mike here can get behind a little onion and tomato and bruschetta. But
Well, 44-year-old Laurie cannot.
well, 64 for Rob could. I do enjoy tomato. Actually, as a matter of fact, I think today my wife just said tomato and bacon sandwiches for lunch.
Oh,
See?
Once we're done our little recording session here, that'll be great.
But to me, that's only a summer thing.
Like a burger needs a nice slice of tomato.
In the summer.
Yeah.
Anytime
again for me, but
winter tomatoes, can't do it.
no.
Nope, can't do them. And no tomatoes in salad, ever. Mm-hmm. Tomatoes have to have the right consistency and texture and color. A good beefsteak tomato, oh my God, in the summertime, like right from the market, delish. Winter tomatoes, when you cut into them, and they're like, I don't even know how to explain what the texture is like, but it's almost like I don't want to say woody, because you know how I feel about wood.
right.
But it's not, I don't know, you'd know. If you saw it, you'd be like, okay, that's the tomato she's talking about. And what I hate about restaurants because I'll have it on a sub. I like tomatoes on my sub.
Yep.
Oh.
Weird.
Uh-huh.
But they have to be the right tomato. And if they have that little white or green center thing at all, out it goes.
Yeah.
And the same thing with my sub with black olives. I always ask for the surprise black olive. I don't want a handful. I want maybe 6 or 7 surprisingly, strategically placed throughout the sub. So I get a bite of the sub and like, oh, look, there's a piece of olive in there. But if I see it when I go to bite into it, it's coming out.
You're
Right?
poor.
I'm telling you.
You're poor sandwich artist.
I'm telling you, I don't know what has happened to me, but this is weird. And I know it's weird. Like, we go out for supper and everybody's like, oh, I'll have salmon. I can't have salmon.
Why?
I don't want salmon. I
Why?
want to like it. I wish I liked it. There's so many benefits to salmon, but I don't like it.
Is it salmon specifically, or is it generally seafood and fish?
Oh, I love seafood.
Oh,
Like
just
nothing
salmon.
weird like octopus or,
Sushi?
weird stuff. No.
Really?
No, food needs to be cooked.
Does it though? Because a lot
It
of
does.
really healthy food is uncooked.
How about raw fish? How about no?
How about
No, never.
Have you tried
Did
it?
that enter? I tried the fake stuff.
Well, then
know,
you're
like
not trying it. That's not it.
Look at the fact that I was even willing to take that and put it anywhere near this food hole was big. Okay, that was big. But no, but I like seafood. I just don't like salmon or I like the whitefish, cod, halibut. Love
Right.
halibut, haddock. But if no lake fish. I know people
Okay.
pee in those lakes. There's no way I'm
Okay.
eating a lake fish. Can't do it.
Right.
Can't do it. So when you go down to Port Stanley and stuff, and they're like, "Hey, look, get some perch." No, I just saw 7 kids in that water. There's no way I'm going to be eating your lake perch. No. So anyway, yeah, no fish. But I want to eat salmon because I know it's beneficial. But then I grew up on it. As a kid, I ate salmon and tuna sandwiches all the time.
Okay.
An egg salad. Can't do any of that now.
Huh,
First
maybe-
of all, meat in a can. Let's talk about that. Can't do meat in a can.
Okay, well, I can't say I've ever
No
been
salmon,
asked
no
to do
tuna.
meat in a can.
Did you ever eat a tuna fish sandwich?
Tuna, yeah,
That's
I guess
meat in a
tuna.
can.
Yeah, okay, it is. You're right. But
Can't do it.
I thought you were talking full on spam, and I was like, can't say I've ever
let's
tried,
not do
can't say I
that
ever
either.
want to.
No, but avocado too, right?
Okay.
That's another thing that there's a lot of benefits. I wish I liked it. I don't like it.
So I actually used to be
That's
quite
texture.
I used to be quite offended by avocado because it was too buttery of a texture. It was just I felt like I was just had a big spoonful of butter in my mouth. And then
Right.
throughout time, as one's taste buds do, they evolved. And now
Do they?
could literally probably just pop an avocado in my mouth and I'm good for lunch. I wouldn't do it, but I could.
Really?
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. Laurie, I know one thing that you and I have in common for weird things is the fact that we not just always see things, but kind of feel things around us. And I know what I've shared with you before, where more than once I've woken up in the middle of the night and I've seen something.
Yes.
That maybe in my head, maybe not, I don't know. But I feel like you and I have a whole world of unusual weird things like that maybe we could share in one of our upcoming episodes.
Whoa.
I feel like I don't know if now's the time. I'm out of coffee. I think we're out for this day. I think we need to pop into that.
I have so many more things to tell you. I'm only partway down my list.
I bet. I do think that for this week, I think we need to wrap up and hold on to a little bit more of this fun stuff. And we will definitely be circling back to weird things in the near future. So in the meantime, I think that our audience can share with us their weird things. What makes you so different than everyone else? What makes you unusual? And why do you love it about yourself, or why do you hate it about yourself? Share with us on our social media. And don't forget to also share you enjoying your morning cup of coffee with Mike and Laurie right here on our show, because we love to see you guys enjoy it just so much that we would love for you to do that. So,
and please don't mail me any wooden spoons. For God's sake, please. Or cotton balls.
Just wooden spoons and cotton balls. It's a craft time with Laurie, and she is in hell. All right. Well, thank you all very much for joining us this week and coming out for coffee
with Mike and Laurie.
Do you have questions, comments, or ideas for a future show? Reach out to Mike and Laurie on their social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Or email us at mikeandlauriesocials@gmail.com.